guys seem to like my video where I solved the Rubik's Cube using only 180-degree turns. Today, I'm going to show you how to solve the 4x4 and 5x5 with the same challenge. In case you don't know how to solve the 3x3 using only 180-degree turns, I would suggest learning that first, since for the sake of time, I'm going to assume that you can already do that. Let's start with the 4x4. Our first step is actually going to be edge pairing. Now this shouldn't be too difficult since edges really only have a few positions that they can be in. For instance, this orange and white edge, when you turn it 180 degrees, it's now here, then back to its original spot. So with only using a few moves, you should be able to solve edges along one axis. Then you can just turn the cube, continue solving edges, turn the cube one more time, and you should be done with edge pairing. Our next step will be to solve our centerpieces. After playing around for a while, I developed this algorithm to move around centerpieces with only 180-degree turns. This will swap these two pieces with these two pieces on the back, so you will need to make sure that you set up this back layer correctly. Then you will do this algorithm. Little r2, little u2, little r2, little u2. As you can see, the edges are preserved and our centerpieces are moved. If you have this checkerboard pattern, just do the algorithm once and it should set up into the 2-bar pattern. After that, the cube is fully reduced, so at this point you should be able to solve it just like a 3x3. But of course, there is something that can happen that can't happen on a 3x3. This is edge parity. Luckily, there is an algorithm to solve this with only 180-degree turns, and here it is. Little r2, u2, little r2, u wide 2, little r2, and then you can either go like this, or this way, which I think is faster, is just move both individually. As you can see, the 4x4 wasn't too difficult. It's pretty intuitive once you just recognize that you can solve the centerpieces and keep your edges in place. For a while, I tried solving the centerpieces first, but then I realized it's really hard to move edges with only 180-degree turns. Alright, let's move on to the 5x5. Now the 5x5 is going to be a lot more difficult and take a lot more time. Luckily, by using the 4x4 strategy, we should be able to get most of the steps right away. Our first step will still be to do edge pairing. However, now we have 3 edges. First off, let's just get the top and bottom edges in place, which can be done pretty easily. Now, for solving the inner edge, there are 3 cases that could happen. The first case, and the easiest, is simply you will move it twice and all the edges in that layer will be fixed. The next case, which is slightly harder, will be when 2 edges are created, but 2 edges have one piece flipped. Now, if you think about this, this can actually be solved using the 4x4 edge parity, because these inner edges aren't part of the 4x4 and will stay here, but these edges will be swapped. So if we just do this really quickly, as you can see, these edges have been swapped, and now this layer is finished. The last case is similar to this case on a 3x3. Now, there are a few ways that you can solve this. The first way is by strategically doing 2 4x4 edge parity algorithms so that you can do 2 swaps to solve all the edges. The second way is by using the alternate 5x5 reduction, which is if this 2x2 cube is a corner and if this center edge center is an edge, and then you can just solve these without worrying about messing up centerpieces since that will be done at the end. Now that all of your edges are solved, you will then solve this like a 3x3 using the true centerpiece as the color of each side. At this point, the cube should look something like this. Now we will use some algorithms to solve the corner centerpieces as well as the edge centerpieces. For the corner centerpieces, we will actually use the same algorithm as on the 4x4, except it will swap these 2 with these 2. By using the exact same algorithm, we should be able to solve all of the corner centerpieces pretty easily. Additionally, you will never have a case where only 2 corner centerpieces will have to be swapped, since if you scrambled it correctly, this should never happen. For the center edge pieces, there are 2 algorithms you can use to solve for this. The first one is pretty short, and it solves these 2 and these 2. You will just do little m2, little u2, little m2, little u2. For solving individual center edges, or this L case, you will use this very long algorithm. Now, I spent a very long time because I didn't want to put this algorithm in the video since it's 60 moves long, but I think that this might be the only way that you can do it using 180-degree turns only. What we are going to do is we are going to swap here and here. We're going to begin by moving up. Then we're going to do the 4x4 edge parity. Then F2. Then 4x4 edge parity again. Then F2 again. 4x4 edge parity. Then we will move back down. And now it sets up into this case, which is 4x4 edge parity, which will also swap these two centers, which these two centers aren't in the 4x4, which is why you don't see them swapping. But when you do the algorithm, it should swap the top edges as well as those centerpieces. And in case you're wondering, the 2x2 can be completed pretty easily using only 180-degree turns, which means that you could do a 2x2 to 5x5 relay using only 180-degree turns. If you guys want to see me do this, say something in the comments. Well, that about wraps it up. I had a lot of fun making these algorithms, and if you have any other fun challenges for me, say something in the comments. I hope this video was helpful to you, and for the future, good luck.